Peace family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I want to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how you will have to pass your spiritual test in order to level up in the spiritual realm. You have to pass your tests, your pop quizzes. You will be sent and given a lot of them. What kind of dove me in this subject today was just kind of processing, my own life, things that I've been going through, and then I also seen a couple comments, just from my Instagram asking about, how do you know if you passing your test? How do you know how to be aware of these tests? And as I was pondering on it last night, just trying to do some meditation in on it, I realized for a lot of us, we passed a really big test that we wasn't aware that it was a test until we got over the hump. And what's crazy is most of us would have never gotten to this space as far as in depth as we are now if we hadn't been passing our tests. It's just most of us don't look at them or see them as tests. We tend to call them obstacles, So our language plays a big part as far as our perception and how we perceive things. But the same thing we call our obstacles, we could also replace that with our tests. When you have things happening to you at the spur of the moment, and it's going to be a test when it starts to kind of get your energy and emotion a little riled up. It could be from the demonic side, or it could be, the creator trying to push you to do something bigger and out of your comfort zone. And you always can tell when it's happening. And I really started paying aware to this when we had the vid, when they was giving everybody that stuff. And when the vid happened, I spent my time traveling. I had already been diving in this space, so I was already in a mind state of, I was considered young and rebellious or rebellion, but it wasn't towards the creator, it was towards the system. That's what a lot of people get mixed up, is they see these two different rebellions, and then you meet one of these demons, they like, oh yeah, I don't like the police, I don't like the courts, I don't like the system, all these other things, when really they in cahoots with it. And we're rebellious against that, not to the creator, which is why we still keep our principles, morals, and values. But anyways, as I was traveling up and down the East Coast, I spent a lot of time in Florida when the vid happened. Down in Florida, it was like, it was non-existent. Oh my God, it was like you could just live life regular, like that shit just never even touched Florida, it seemed like. And I remember I was down there with a person I was dealing with at the time, and I had a situation. We was already like in the brinks. I had already pegged them as being labeled over here just by their actions and the fruits that was falling off of them. And I had a situation where we went into a store. It was two on this one trip we went. We went and we stayed for a week. It was two situations. And the first one, when it happened, it was like, I don't remember like specifically why the being did it. I feel like it was the vibration, and they probably thought that I was trying to cut them off when really I was just asking a question, because it was a long line in the store where it was at or whatever. And some little random female just decided to call me a bitch, and I was just like, I didn't respond to it. I just kind of looked at her, because in my mind, like, as soon as she said that, all my situations that I've been through with men flashed before my spiritual realm. And I knew this was a lighter vessel, so once I saw it and I was like, oh, she said it, I kind of just brushed it off. But in the back of my spirit world, it was still a bunch of people around. I kept thinking, like, why the hell my person ain't speak up when this other female spoke up? Because in my world, if it was another man, I'm addressing all situations. I don't care if we full-time together or part-time together. That's my job. And not anything happened, didn't address it. I waited till we got in the car. We started discussing it a little bit. I just brushed it off. A couple days later, another situation happened with another female doing something similar, but she didn't name call the same way. She just kind of gave the same vibration. And this being did not say anything again. I'm just like, damn. Long story short, we got back to Virginia. I took like a month break, right? And I was just, time and space brings you clarity. I spoke on this in one of my other videos previously before, but it brings you so much clarity. I took a month away from this being, and in my world, I already knew that, all right, I didn't feel comfortable with the way that had played out. I wasn't pleased with myself. It was like I was getting information sent to me like, you know, you got to start speaking up. You know, you have to start managing and taking care of these little things as they're happening. And as I failed the pop quiz, I just kept thinking, damn, I need a retake on this pop quiz. Like, and I had told myself when we was making our way back to VA, I was like, yo, I ain't never gonna expect no other female to handle another female for me, because clearly these ones don't know the balance. So I'll just figure out ways to reword things so that way they know that shit is not okay. You don't just step all over somebody's feet and toes and boundaries and think that it's gonna be okay. If you do, that doesn't mean that that person is gonna receive it as if it's okay. So I got a little frustrated with that. It was on my spirit for a good 30 days. I reset another trip up. Me and her spoke again. Went back down to Florida. I kid you not. Within the first 2 days, had another pop quiz pop up in front of me. I was so ready for the quiz that it was no way that I was not gonna pass this quiz, because I was just way too ready for it. I walk into the store. I had my little face mask. I had it over my mouth because I didn't like to cover my nose. Once again, I have some rebellion in my spirit towards the opposition. So when they tell me to do something, it's like when they be talking, I be quiet. When they gone, I be talking again. No, I'm joking. But I was going to the back of the store getting a drink. I reached down there. I'm like, oh, I see my tea that I want. I go to grab my tea. As I'm grabbing my tea, a lady pull up on me. She had her face mask on all the way. And the way she had walked up to me, I thought she was an employee. It's the sun. Y'all know I don't have lighting outside. I got to work with the sun. So if I'm visible and invisible in certain scenes, you know, it's from the sun. I only can work with the sun but so much, you know. And she came up speaking to me with like this weird heart energy as if she was an employee there. And was like, oh, sir, could you put your mask over your nose? Blah, blah, blah. She said it so aggressively. Like, I actually touched my mask because I was like, damn, I'm in the store. All right, this is the first employee saying so. I just put it on my nose. That's what I was thinking. But as I was touching it and she was still talking and I realized she wasn't an employee, I took my shit off my face. And she started trying to say some ignorant shit about like, well, you know, these are, we're supposed to wear these to keep us safe and, you know, and to protect the other people around us. You not wearing yours mean you don't care about the people out here and blah, blah, and all this other shit. She said, I hope you and your family or yours or something like don't get sick or do. She said some weird language. It was English, but the way she worded it was extremely weird, but I knew it was supposed to be like derogatory towards me. And all I could do was respond back. I was spot on with my responses back to her, and I didn't give her that many responses. And at the end of my statement, you know, I think I had told her, like, when she made the statement to try to hit me, I sent it right back to her. I hope you and your family do as well too, you know. And I kept it moving. But just me responding, I didn't get aggressive. I didn't do any of that. I need to poke my chest out. I just had to stand up taller, you know, because you always going to have to stand up with your shoulders out. And after that situation, everything was like so much smoother. Like, it was like a whole weight had lifted up out of me spiritually. Like, I had that other last situation, the test, or my pop quizzes. When they come up fast, it's usually just a pop quiz. If it's spur of the moment. When I had those store encounters, I call those pop quizzes. The tests are the long ones that you know are just prolonging and it's on the way. So like, I'll finish this one first, then we'll get over into the test. But the pop quizzes, after I got back to the car, it was like, once the weight lifted, I felt like the grade was like, check plus, 8+, however you get your papers graded where you are at. It was just, it felt so much better just being aware that, okay, this is the same situation transpiring again, but it's a different being, but it's the same vibration. Last time I didn't do a good job. I failed my pop quiz because it sat on me. It didn't sit well with me. When you got a bunch of negative condensations behind a situation or something, that's when for me I know like I didn't do so well on the test or the quiz. Now if it's pertaining to like letting people go or some shit like that, that's different because we feel, so you're gonna have that kind of energy connected to it as you're disconnecting, you know. But it was such a huge turning point, and it's kind of like running social experiments. Like, it's no reason why they could do them in the lab and we're around people every day. That's why I always think it's weird when people say, oh yeah, I study psychology. Motherfucker, we all around humans. Everybody should be studying humans. That makes sense to me. I want to learn me, so if I'm learning me, I'm learning you. Even if you're using another playbook, I'm still learning you because I've learned me and I'm learning me. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist for somebody to tell me, hey, just pay attention to people, humans, as they move around, you know? That's the pop quizzes. They always spur the moment. They pop up on you. They usually are one of them ones that's going to try to catch you real quick and rile you up. Kind of like somebody cutting you off in traffic, you know, just random spurts that you know come up. You can take that as an attack, but for me, I've been in this realm so long that I like to have fun with it. You know what I mean? That's why I get up here and do what I do, because I like to I know the dark extremely well. I'll go walk in that motherfucker with my shoes off. But that's just because, you know, you have to know it in order to have more understanding and respect for the light. But your test, when you get your test, I say like test for me is like when I have to do things like going to court for my daughter. I got another court date coming up in March. We gotta stay in this courtroom until they get tired of seeing my face, or until they just be like, you know what? We just gonna remove everything. And then it's like, all right, I'm still back in here fighting some more. But the test, I use that as one because that's something that you know, and I know is coming up that I have to prepare my energy for. I know how the other team operates. I know what they like to favor the outcome. But it's my job to make sure that during this test time, I'm keeping my faith as high as possible with the Creator, making sure I'm doing my due diligence and keeping, you know, myself, my armor, my weapons, my knowledge is as sharp as possible. You know, making sure I'm doing research, doing little different things to prepare myself for the test. I done had these, not just the courts and doing this kind of stuff. You got other kind of big tests that you do, you know? And I just use that as an example because that's something that you have to prepare for, and you know it's coming up and it's on the way. And you don't always know the outcome, but what we do know is when we put our faith and trust in the Creator, like we always do anyways, even if we don't get the outcome we looking for, we get the one that we need to keep us pushing, and that way we make sure we're ready for the next test. We always getting tested out here. So the same way we get tested and we are having random pop quizzes thrown at us, we can do the same thing. I do it all the time. It don't make sense for us to be out here operating and getting all this information, all these downloads, and then you're not exploring them. You're not putting them into works. You're not practicing them. You don't even know if it works or not. You know what I mean? People that watch meditation videos but never actually went and set out without any technology and just tried to vibe in their own energy. No. Because some of them are too scared, so they still have to even take their phones with them when they're going out to do meditation time. Because in their mind, it's like, oh, what if something happens and somebody need to contact me? Oh, well, we grew up without it. If it was meant to be that way, it's going to happen regardless. So you just have to go out and take that time and space for yourself. And it just starts with a little bit of practice here and there. A little bit of practice here and there. But we always going to have these pop tests and quizzes. Once you start being in this realm for a long enough time and you understand what's going on out here, that's why I'm calling them tests and quizzes. You get, the more tests and quizzes you pass, the more information and insight you get. Every time I passed a test or quiz, I got more information. Matter of fact, my most recent situation, before everybody even start being able to, you know, visualize and receive my energy more, for me to ever continue to give this energy, like, I had a plantation that I had just left. I call jobs plantations. That's just my perspective. And I had 2 people that I cut off. That's 3. Everything happens in threes. If anytime something witchy is happening with me, I'm gonna get 3 witchy things, three witchy events happen. Anytime I have something good, it's just gonna be an abundance of it. It's never like, I can never put a number on that specifically because it's just an abundance. Right before this past 10 days, I literally just left a plantation and I cut 2 people off. One of them I had to remove, the other one I had to block and delete. My spirit didn't want to do it, but I knew that they wasn't riding with my team and I had to. And it's like, I'm not that isolated, I'm not that insecure, and I'm not that dependent that I need that kind of energy in my space. I figured out ways to operate in my own vibration and give out the vibe that I want to give out, that the creator pushes through to me. So if that's not the vibration I want to sit in. But what happened is, that was really a tough spot for me to do. I just had 3 events. I just walked out of a plantation and I had to cut 2 people off. They was in my everyday communication, you know what I mean? And I did that all with the right intentions on passing this test. I felt like the creator was like showing me the signs. I was aware of what was going on, but the creator be like, all right, you giving too many opportunities. Because for me, I be having a hard time limiting the opportunities. But the same way I can give a lot of love, I can remove myself from the picture just as easy and take that fight within myself. I don't have to fight every battle outside with them. Some of them I just take on myself. Because I don't want to give that power, I don't want to give that kind of energy over there, because that kind of fuels them up. So instead of me fueling, I'll take on some of them myself, you know what I mean? But in the midst of doing that, the universe was like, all right, you passed this test. You managed to cut them off, and you walked out of a place that was trying to lower your value as a being. You know, when you at these plantations, they want to keep you in robot zombie mode. And I'm like, look, this is just a job for me. I'm working here because y'all giving me a couple dollars. That's it. Outside of that, this and that, blah, blah, I don't give a fuck about none of that. I don't care about none of that. And if you a man working over here, bruh, I'm a man just like you. And if you can't beat me in real life, I'm not going to just allow you to talk to me because you're in a higher position. Hey, I was going to use the word petty with it sometimes, but I hate when these demons feel like they're more knowledgeable or they have a little bit more power and influence and they want to flex it on you like you ain't going to do shit. And I'm like, you could try that, but I ain't one of them beings. You ain't going to get the response from me that you thought you was going to get. I didn't have to get aggressive or do any of that shit, but I'm always going to stand solid, and I will correct certain language and words that you use when you communicate with me. Simple process, you know what I mean? The other 2 didn't value my energy. That was 3 things that transpired. From those 3 transpires, the creator said, look, here you go. The last video with the other one it's almost at 80K now, or I think it's probably at 80K now, you know. And I've been staying consistent, just putting this information and knowledge out because it's just what I do. And I don't believe in things being ironic or, you know, a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. You know, everything happens on divine time. So it was like, oh, all right, you passed this test, because I was putting some weight on you because I had other things on my plate, right? I just don't have to put everything out, but I have other things on the plate that's trying to take up some space, but I removed 3 of them, which is a big chunk. And I passed that test. He was like, whoosh, here you go, flying colors, push me right on over there. You know what I mean? I could name a bunch of other situations to where I was supposed to either leave a location or I was supposed to remove some energy or get away from some energy. And I did it and I passed my test. Now I have other ones when I didn't pass my test and I end up catching a backlashing for it, you know. So if you not passing these tests, the tests hit harder. You know, pop quiz, you can skate past a pop quiz. Like, it's only like 10% of your grade. But test is usually like 30, 35, 45% of your grade. So when you don't pass a spiritual test and you turn around, you got a lash on you back, you just like, all right, I don't want to get a second lash, you know. So you make sure you prepare yourself for your next test. Your next test, you know. We already out here in the field, so depending on how you use your words are spells and spells are real, you know. So if you take everything as an obstacle, it will be an obstacle. If you take everything as a trial, it will be a trial. You know, if you take everything as them attacking you, it will be an attack. But for me, I've been fighting this, and I know some of us been fighting this shit for so long that it's light work. Yes, we do have to acknowledge it, and we do reap some kind of weird energies from it and stuff, but we do get a lot of light from it too. But we've been doing it for so long that they just become tests and pop quizzes. You know, just be mindful of these things. They're gonna come your way regardless. So what you can try to do is have some fun with it in the process. You know, try to have some fun with it. Try not to be so hard about it. Like, yes, focus your energy. But when you take tests in school, you know it's not the end all by all any means. You know it's just like, it may affect me this semester. I'm gonna bounce back next semester. It may affect this grade right now, but I'm gonna bounce back on the next one. You know, it's all about that bounce back. If you're not recovering from your test, then you're gonna stay in a cycle and you're gonna be in a loop, and you're never gonna get access to more and newer information, because it's information being dispersed out here every day, every second, every minute. And that's why a lot of other beings that's not passing their test, they aren't allowed access. That's why you can say certain things to people, and you can really tell that it doesn't register to them. They don't comprehend it. It doesn't register. It's like you just say, and they're like, and really all you said was the sun is out. But they looking like, but yeah, anyways, what about that smoothie we had? And change the subject to something completely different. They really don't have access to this information. That's why everybody don't. We know that just by looking at the physical libraries that's out here. Everybody don't go to libraries, you know. We can look at the elderly. The elderly are living libraries. Everybody don't go to the elderly. And I know we don't, because a lot of them are zombies and robots too. You know, I understand that. But the same way we learn from the younger ones around us, we can learn from the older ones around us. You cannot spell learn without earn. You out here making money, earning. So why aren't you learning and earning? Come on, man. We need the whole package out here these days. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings.